Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my first X and Y moveset video. This is going to be on the ever coveted, the ever beloved Klefki, who is one of my favorites going into 6th gen. And I have a specific moveset that I'm using for it, very similar to what a lot of people are doing, but I have a little bit of difference to mine, so I'll go ahead and talk you guys through it. So without further ado, let's get underway. So, for my set in particular, you are going to be wanting to give this thing an impish nature. Now, a lot of reasons why Klefki is very useful is because it tends to be, in general, a counter, a 100% thing that you could switch in on Aegislash and desolate it, demolish it, absolutely wipe it from the face of the battlefield, as I've said many a time. And obviously, Aegislash is being used a lot, and mostly on Wi-Fi, people are running the physically based Sword Stance set, which I don't think is the case on Simulator. A lot more people are running mixed on there, but certainly the Wi-Fi region right now, people only have limited amount of stuff that they can breed, and so they're going to go and breed the stuff which they think is the most effective, and that's what people are doing at the moment, the physical Aegislash. So if you're running Impish, it's going to help you out a huge amount because it is going to give you that defense boost, and because we're not running any form of stab like a special fairy move such as Dazzling Gleam or the like, we're not running Bold, so Impish is, you can run Bold if you want, and it gives you more options later on if you want to potentially change up your moveset, but you're going to have to adjust the IVs as well, which isn't really possible when you have a thing already bred. And obviously, most people are breeding because that's the only way of getting Pokemon. Everyone's breeding, what am I saying? So, obviously, moving on, we're going into its ability, which is Prankster. It has two possible abilities, so when you're breeding, you've got to be on the lookout for that and make sure you have one with Prankster. Magician is its other ability, and I actually don't really understand how that properly functions yet, so potentially there are viable sets with it, but none that have been utilized from people that I've played against anyway. So, the IVs that you're going to be shooting for, you only really need to go quad flawless here, with regards to my set anyway. If you are going to be running a fairy move, a special fairy move like Dazzling Gleam, or maybe Draining Kiss to get some HP back, then you will definitely want to go for the 31 in the special attack. But for the set that I'm running, you only need the HP, defenses, and of course speed. Speed is kind of crucial, although the one that I personally have doesn't have the 31 in speed. It was one of my earlier breeds, and I kind of settled for tri-flawless as opposed to quad flawless, but definitely if you're going to go for one of these guys, you definitely want to make sure that your speed is there. Although it has Prankster, having the ability to be faster than a lot of Pokemon, because you're base 75 is nothing to shirk at, and hit them with foul play, especially a lot of defensive things, is going to be very useful, and I would advise that you go and do that. So that's the breeding side of things. Let's move on to the EVing and the moveset. I have decided to give this thing max HP. It will generally have max HP on most sets that it runs. It has a pretty low amount base stat wise. It's 57, so you want to just max out that as much as possible, and just put every single point that you possibly can into it. Then of course we're running with this defensive spread by going fully into defense also, and throwing the remaining 4 into the special defense, because maybe it'll save you from a Shadow Ball one day. You never know, it could be helpful. Fully defensive, physically so, and the moveset that we're running with is Spikes, Thunder Wave, Substitute, and Foul Play. Now, in general with most Klefki sets, you'll find Spikes and Foul Play on them as a general rule, I feel. Thunder Wave as well is pretty high. Substitute is something that I put on there personally, feeling that it is beneficial to me as a player, in terms of my playstyle, and also in terms of using Klefki on the field. Now, the essential aim of the set is to just get up all your spikes as quickly as possible, and paralyze things which are going to be fast in the match and cripple them, and potentially obviously leave Klefki for later on when you can bring it back in and paralyze that Gengar, or paralyze the Alakazam, or something that's really going to be a pain to deal with because of its speed. Foul Play, of course, there to deal with anything offensive that tries to set up on you, and Klefki has a variety of resistances. Steel Fairy is fantastic defensive typing, and it can take a lot of hits. It's immune to Dragon and Poison, and is resisting loads of other things as well, so you can generally switch it in without fear and be in a position to either set up spikes on a switch or paralyze something, or sub to Scout. And sub is just such a really nice move in general, and one that I use so much, and obviously Nick uses as well has probably rubbed off a lot on me, but the reason that I like sub so much is, especially with Prankster, is originally when you begin the match, if you're leading with Klefki, you can scout your opponent, find out what kind of set they're running on their Pokemon, whether it's going to threaten you or not, and switch out accordingly. You can also use it on known switches. If you know something is going to switch out because it doesn't want to get priority Thunder Wave, you can sub on the switch, and whatever they go into may be, you know, susceptible to foul play, so you'll be able to hit them with a foul play without taking a hit from them, because your sub is going to be protecting you. And that is the main reason as well, because foul play does not get priority because it is an attacking move. Having the sub as a barrier between you and your opponent, and being able to use foul play freely, is really, really fantastic, and something that helps so much so far, that I found anyway, which is pretty great. So I mentioned earlier that Klefki is generally a really good counter to Aegislash. You can switch it in almost freely and be able to kill it with a foul play, because if it sets up a Swords Dance on your switch, you will outspeed it because your base speed is higher, and if you're running the max IVs, then you will be definitely able to push that thing out of the way, assuming of course that it isn't running any speed investment of its own, which generally they don't. Now, if you do find yourself having to take a hit from a +2 Aegislash, know that you're not going to die, at least not in one hit, not in 2 hits if it's going to go for the Shadow Sneak, because Shadow Sneak deals a maximum of 45.59%, really low amount, especially for being stabbed and at +2 with a 150 attack. Klefki can take it pretty damn well. Sacred Sword is going to deal a max of 67.92, which is worse, and you'll probably be in a situation to die if it goes for Sacred Sword when you switch in, and then a Shadow Sneak after that. But granted that if you're switching in on a Swords Dance, it shouldn't have the opportunity to do that anyway. And just for reference, if it does try to go for King Shield and drop your attack, that is not going to affect your foul play whatsoever. Foul play obviously goes off your opponent's attack, and so if you are going to be hitting it without a boost, foul play is going to do a minimum of 68.96%, ranging up to 81%. So with a Swords Dance, it's definitely going to die in one hit, which is pretty fucking fantastic. I tell you what, guys, this is our savior. This is the thing that stops the sword in the darkness. A fucking keychain. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's moveset video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to leave a like down below if you did. That is always appreciated. And let me know what moveset I should do next. I'm leaning towards Trevenant because a lot of people seem to want that one. But let me know. You can, of course, send your requests to me on Twitter at LordNBZ, or my Facebook, which is facebook.com/LordNBZ, both of which I will reply on. More likely I'll reply on Twitter, though. Twitter is where I generally talk to people a lot more often, so go over there and throw me some questions. Otherwise, leave your thoughts down below on Klefki, and let me know how this set does for you, if you want to use it out for your own battles. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.